All right. Hello, everyone. It is the Thursday night forum, and the season's over, but there's a lot going on out there, Arsenal-related content. So, welcome everybody. I think Stan will be joining us little bit later. Gary also will be joining a little bit later. But for right now, we have myself, the host, Ray here, and Tony and Alonso. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Alonso, how you been?
I'm fine.
Good. There's lots going on. We're gonna jump around. There's a lot of things we can chat about. What do we want to dive into first?
Want to dive into about Bellerin? That's an interesting story.
About which one?
Bellerin and his drinking problem when he's injured.
Yeah, real quick. Give us the background on Hector Bellerin.
Yeah, supposedly he was real heavy into drinking when he was fighting his knee recovery and just fighting depression too, and just drinking heavy. Seems like that's pretty much it.
And you think his performances have been hurt that way by doing that, Tony?
I don't know. I think he's been declining on the last 5 years.
Yeah. I think one of the players who is possibly going to be leaving this summer. We have a lot to do this summer, Alonso. A lot of work to get through. A lot of players to re-sign. A lot of players to move on, and a few players to bring in as well. So there's lots of transfer gossip, transfer rumors going out there today. And what do you think, Alonso?
Yeah, I mean, my only hope is that whomever we get in, we do it early and learn from our past mistakes. But that seems like a rarity nowadays. I think that their names out there, but it's a matter of if Arsenal are ambitious enough to get business in early, because we know how we just get those late signings and they don't really help us out because they're still waiting to get rested and they're still waiting to get looked at and get checked out. So hopefully we get business done early, which I don't think we will because we're Arsenal, and it always gets us in a tough spot usually, and us fans get restless, and so it kind of leaves us work no basis. Just like, well, where we stand with these players that are rumored to be coming to us, never we just even scratch the mark. So it's just kind of getting old where we get business done late.
Yeah, traditionally we've done business really lately, really late in the season. Hopefully we can change things, and I think signs today of a rejected bid for Emi Buendia from Norwich today. And of course, this is how Arsenal do things, Tony. I want to shout out Stephen. Hi, guys. I'm just going to be listening for a bit, not reading chat for about 15 minutes, but I will still be here. And we were thankful for having loyal viewership staying with us throughout the summer.
Especially Stephen.
Stephen, too. Also, Don Juan. So, Tony, I'm pretty sweet on Emi Buendia. So today Arsenal had a 30 million plus bonuses tied into it. Rejected their first bid. Rejected. This sounds and seems a lot like Kieran Tierney a couple of seasons ago, but we do hope that it's going to happen a lot quicker than that right now. With the Euros due to start in 8 days from now.
Especially with Aston Villa also being in with it, and Norwich wanting 40 million for him. I was reading the deal with all the fans saying just go ahead and pay the extra 10 million, and go ahead and pay him 40 million.
I think the final transfer bid will be somewhere between 30 and 40 million, probably 33, 34, something like that. I know that Norwich had said the first digit would be a 3. So Arsenal have met them met a quite decent bid at 30 million, and they're going to come back and do more. All due respect to Aston Villa, I do believe Arsenal are still a better sell for a player. Alonso, what do you think? Aston Villa versus Arsenal. We should be the club that's moving forward with this deal.
You would hope and think so, but with the way that the rumors of Jack Grealish going to Man City or one of the other big clubs. It seems like if Aston Villa were to get Buendia, it would be because Jack Grealish would be gone. But other than that, I don't see a reason why we should lose out to Aston Villa. Given the fact that if Buendia does come to us, it's because he wants first team football and wants it right away. And it's kind of tough because he could also play right wing and also the central attacking midfielder position, which, as we all do know that Emil Smith-Rowe can play that as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with Buendia. I think we all also prefer British over Buendia as also. So I don't know. I just hate the fact that Arsenal could be giving up on Odegaard. So I think we all prefer Odegaard over Buendia. But I think if we do get Buendia, it'd be a good sign in the right direction, I guess.
And Tony, the club has said goodbye to a number of players, Matt Ryan being one of them. Hopefully we're going to re-sign Matt Ryan. I think he's a good option as a second goalkeeper, and we'll get into the goalkeeping situation. Let's linger a little bit on Buendia. As you see here, actions will speak louder than words this summer for Arsenal. This really is a summer where we're going to have to go out and do the business, put the money down on the table, and go get the players we need. And we need to get some of them before the Euro start in about 8 days, Tony.
I know you're sweet on B&B. You want Buendia and Bissouma. I'm just still not sure if Buendia is really a upgrade on Odegaard or not. I'm not sure who really has a higher ceiling. I think probably Odegaard does, but I don't think we're going to be willing to pay $50 million or whatever Reals want.
So Tony's situation with Odegaard is that he's going to go back to Real Madrid. Ancelotti has got the job there. He's bailed on Everton, but going back to Real Madrid is with all due respect again it is a bigger post than Everton, and unfortunately Everton haven't taken a step forward. So Odegaard's going to go back to Real Madrid. I think Ancelotti is invested in making Odegaard be part of the team because he had that creative player.
Hopefully he apologizes for the words he said about him last year, or when he was playing for him last time.
Which were?
Saying that he really wasn't ready to play, that it was just a ploy to get fans in the stands playing him so young, getting three matches under him. This is just.
So, Tony, as Alonso said, and good comments there from Alonso, Aston Villa are looking for Buendia as well because potentially they will probably be anticipating selling Grealish for upwards of 70 or 80 million. So they're going to get a reasonably decent player if they get Buendia. We hope they don't do that. And they're going to turn a profit in flipping Grealish maybe to a City or another team. But Steve Denham's also said, what about Aston Villa wanting Emil Smith-Rowe? And I believe this is a non-story, Stephen. I don't believe Emil Smith-Rowe is going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think he's too dedicated to the badge to at least leave for anywhere else in England. I could see him going to Spain or something later on, or Germany or something, but I just don't see him leaving for an English club.
Yeah, so Alonso, Aston Villa or Arsenal for Buendia? If you're Emi Buendia, what are you thinking right now?
Well, if I'm Buendia, I would stay at Norwich because we just got promoted again. We have Norwich has something to prove. I think with always them being up and down, but he doesn't want to sit at Norwich, right? He wants to go to somewhere where he knows he could be productive. He wants to go somewhere where he knows he could grow as a player and a person as well. And London is Norwich, so. I think if I'm Buendia, I go to Arsenal, of course, because the history behind the club. I think that he believes. I'm assuming he believes in Arteta and in his rebuild process. Although we don't like Arteta sometimes, But I think Buendia sees us as a project, and I think that if Buendia is on the team, he could probably help us out.
Yeah. Tony, I'm Emmy Buendia. I'm going to Arsenal because of the history. I'm going to Arsenal because of the names. You look around the dressing room, you're going to still see big names in the dressing room. A Pepe, a Saka, but Partey, all of these players. Aubameyang, Lacazette still there. These are players that Buendia would be probably licking his chops about playing alongside with.
Yeah, we still look good on paper. Still should be enticing to other players, even though our product on the pitch sucks at the moment. But hopefully, we just, like I said yesterday, hopefully we just get people fighting for the badge, wanting to be at Arsenal, get us to the right culture and stuff like that.
Alonso, in terms of for Buendia here, I do think it is a good opening bid of 30 plus million plus all kinds of add-ons and bonuses here. So whereas Kieran Tierney, with the Kieran Tierney situation, we started off with a really, really low bid of 17 million, ended up at 25 million, and took the guts of 2.5 months to get done. I do expect the Buendia deal will happen a lot quicker, Alonso.
Yeah, especially the fact that we targeted him for a while now. It seems like, and it kind of shows you that if we're bidding this early and we're almost there, it shows that we're interested still in him. But eventually we get the job done. It's just a matter of time and when, and hopefully it gets done soon. And I think Norwich would be fools not to take this deal, the bid at least, because they should value Buendia as more as a talented player to go to a team that like Arsenal, and it's kind of nice to have at least us not looking elsewhere like France or Spain or Italy for players' help. We're actually looking into the league and buying in the country. So there's that as well, which in the past we've for some reason don't look to players in our own league or at least in the championship. So I think that's different as well, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, Tony, this is kind of what we wanted to do, start looking at our own market. Buendia had a difficult time in the Premier League 2 seasons ago. So went down in the Champions League. He would have been 22 years old as a young player, and playing in the Championship, he seems to have really taken a step forward this past season with Norwich.
He definitely improved. I hate to base a player off 1 year. It's nice to see him do it for 2 or 3 years before you go and get him. But I think 30 million is a good price. I think 40 million is probably a little too much for him.
Yeah, I don't see him going at 40 million in the end. Now, it is to Norwich's advantage. They have Max Aarons as well, and they've said that he would probably go for in the 30s as well. But for Buendia, we have a bidding war between ourselves and Aston Villa, and Buendia played 38 matches in the Premier League 2 seasons ago, 8 goals, 12 assists, so 20 goal involvements in 38 games. And in last season, 31 goal involvements in 39 games. So prolific in the championship, Tony.
Yep. You, like I said, you're really sweet on the player. You can tell because we've been carrying on about him for 10 minutes now.
Yeah. Listen, there's lots to get through today, and there's Stan and Gary jump in as well. We will probably double back on Buendia a little bit because it is the big news of the day. Alonso, 15 goals in the championship, 16 assists last season. Now he's going to step up into the Premier League and not be as effective, but if he's somewhere in between his last Premier League season and championship season just gone, he should have about 25 goal involvements this season in the Premier League, no matter where he ends up, and hopefully it's going to be at Arsenal.
So right, if Basuma is Lamborghini, right, is Buendia is he a Ford Escort?
Is he what?
A Ford Escort?
Assume they are red Lamborghini, and Buendia is probably a little bit faster than that as well.
A Ferrari. Hey, but no, but I think Buendia could potentially be that Cesc Fabregas kind of midfielder we've been lacking for the last 10 years, it seems like. So I think that he's fit in the right direction with the way hopefully we fit our system, especially with Emil Sissoko and Saka and Odegaard playing that number 10 role last year. Sometimes looked pretty good. So I think there's no reason why he can't excel in Miguel Arteta's system, whichever system that is, And so he's, I think, learned from his mistakes in Premier League, and I think that in the Championship last year he did pretty well. So I think that hopefully he can bring us to the next level with the way he's been playing in the Championship. So yeah, I can't wait to see him link up if that's the case to Aubameyang and Pepe and Saka and even Emil Sissoko. So yeah, the future is there for the kid. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, 24 years old, Alonso. This is the kind of player that at least myself and Gary have been talking about, that age group, and Tony has been talking about that as well. This is the kind of age that we need to come into our team to help the younger players. Tony, did you want to jump in for a second there?
No, I was just saying I was first. I'm saying we need players about 23 to 26. And there's Stan.
All right, Stan. How are you?
Really hot over here, mate, in Vancouver, in North Vancouver. Johnny Blaze, mate.
Nice and warm. You got the cut off there at the shoulders there. I see that.
Yeah, you want to see below the waist.
Or not, right? As the case may be.
Chicks, part 2.
As Stephen Dunham said here, how we never lost out on Tierney is a miracle, because Arsenal pissing about over a transfer fee that was neither here nor there. Tiny transfer fee. We were lucky not to lose him. And Stan, I don't know if you were listening. We're talking about Buendia. The rejected bid today of 30 million plus bonuses here and there. And the first bid, I think, for Arsenal has been quite high. I think we're quite keen on the player. And of course, they were never going to accept our first bid, right?
I don't know too much about Buendia, the player. He's the one from Norwich.
Norwich, yeah.
Yeah. Where's Basuma from?
Brighton.
Okay, yeah, I get him mixed up a little bit. I think it's the Bees. Buendia, I don't know too much about him. What would you say was his position? Is he like a central midfielder? Is he a deep line midfielder? What's his job?
Attacking wing.
Attacking midfielder, but can play from the right.
Yeah. Sorry, Basuma's more tackling. Yeah, Buendia, the attacking guy. 30 million. And what's his nationality? Is he classed as an English?
Argentina.
30 million. How old is he?
24.
30 million. What do you think?
Ray's carried 10 minutes about him so far.
I've been going on for 10 minutes about him, so I'm actually quite sweet on him, Stan.
It doesn't sound too ostentatious, right? You paid 50 million for Partey.
Yeah.
Well, euros.
Alonso likened him to Cesc Fabregas. I think he's a busy attacking midfielder. I don't want to pigeonhole him like this, but he reminds me of Santi.
Basuma's the one with his hair shaved at the side. Yeah, Buendia, sort of like a number 10.
He reminds me of Santi Cazorla, and that's high praise indeed from me.
What's his stats for the season?
So
you just
38 games, 31 involvements, 15 goals, 16 assists in the Championship.
Not bad.
Yeah, he should be coming into his peak right now, peak years. So we want to get him in here.
Would you pay the 30 million for him, or would you cough up 50 million, maybe 55 million for Odegaard? Is Odegaard worth that extra money?
No, I don't believe he's worth that extra money. What do you think, Tony?
kind of close for me. I wouldn't really pay much over 30 for Buendia, and probably 50 million stops for me on Odegaard.
You
But I
would
would
be able to. You would be
I-
able to keep. You would be able to keep 20 bags for some other player coming in. Then, right?
I would go with Odegaard more than likely.
Or if you're rousing the air here, you'll be keeping 20 back for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And getting sacked.
For a rainy day.
Hello to
Allegedly,
Stefan.
just in case any of his legal people are listening, allegedly.
30 million plus stamp-ons, stap-ons, add-ons. Yes. Did anyone see?
I think Ray's sweeter on him than you were on Donnie last summer.
Alonso, stop it.
It looks like, Stan, have you seen Bissouma sending out subliminal messages? He's leaving a shirt on the bed in his apartment, and now he's stood in front of a red Lamborghini. Are they come and get these signs?
Was it wrapped?
It was not wrapped. He's gonna go to Aubameyang to help get it wrapped, right?
Well, the penny for me is just dropping that. You can play for Brighton, do you know what I mean? And your ride is a Lamborghini. I mean, you're doing all right, to be fair. You know what I mean? You're doing all right for yourself. Bissouma, it's funny. Every time I hear his name, for some reason, I just think of like a woodwind instrument in an orchestra, sort of like a Bissouma. I play the Bissouma. What do you play?
Vavazula.
What's
the Vavazulas, right?
What's the bid we've put in for him then? What's the money around him saying?
So
he's gonna play next to Didgeridoo.
I would say it's going to be in the 30s as well, but I don't think there's been any concrete bid yet for Bissouma. It
So
looks
like, say maybe we spent 60 million for the two of them, then you'd have to say that if you're comparing that to what the rumours are that Odegaard would be, the money would be, it probably seems like that's the better deal, right? You know, for maybe an extra 5 million there, you're going to get two players that play different roles and can be in the side at the same time. Because I think Bissouma's a little bit more of a tackler, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I think Bissouma would sit in front of our back four. Maybe I see Partey moving a little bit further forward, and Buendia affecting the forward positions as well. So it would be a good upgrade on our midfield, right? Granit Xhaka, word is maybe going to get sold. Tony, Granit Xhaka, happy?
Not happy for 15 to 20 million. I wish we took the 40 million euros for him, but I definitely want to see him leave. Like I said, we haven't been in the Champions League since he's been with us. To me, it was the worst window we ever had, spending 92 million on him.
Tony's
Colonel
never going to
Mustard
forget
and
that
Perez.
40 million, Stan.
Tony, you're like there's a lot. You're like there's a section of people on Twitter, and they're a lot like you go back through their timeline, say maybe I don't know 8 months ago, and they're all going like, "Jack is fucking shit. How the fuck did he get? To play for Arsenal every week? We've got to get rid of this fucking donut." And then when it goes up for sale, and someone puts a bid in for 15, they're like, "Fucking hell, only 15? You must be joking, man. We want at least 40 million for him." You know, whereas 9 months ago they were driving him to the airport.
I'd still drive him to the airport.
I'll drive him.
Both thumbs up my ass, but
I'll take whatever we can get for Xhaka, and I'll be thankful.
What the world's going on here? Is this like what's this like? What is this? The Top Gun or something? Got his glass. Oh wait a second. This is like a motorcycle
No, I think
gang or something like that going on.
I think it's like 80s music here, like Depeche Mode or something like that, you know?
No, it's
Sons of Anarchy and
case
Top
of,
Gun combined.
It's a case of I need your keys, your motorcycle, and your boots.
The Terminator.
Oh.
Terminator. All right, let's get you caught up, Gary. We were basically
You don't want to see what
talking
Stan's wearing from a waist down. That's the most important thing.
The fact that I can see his arms is scary. Oh, look at that. What is that thing over there? What's sticking out of your shirt?
Yeah. My missus, I've got shorts on, right? My missus said to me earlier, the last time I saw legs like that, they were sticking out of a nest.
I think we know the season's over because there's no stress on our faces. We're all pretty chilled out here tonight. We're just
We're just happy the season's over, right?
Happy the season's over, exactly. And we're going to get into it a little bit later. How can we be better next season? We'll get into that later. But hey, Gary,
more points.
We'll bring you up to speed here. Actions will speak louder than words this summer for Arsenal. Luis Campos, Buendia, Onana, Bissouma, etc., etc. Jump in.
I think
until I see a confirmation of sorts, nothing's happening.
We're
not moving forward. We're not moving backwards. I mean, the one thing I do know is that Kolasinac is coming back. Nobody wants him. That's the only thing I know right now.
Yeah. He's still an Arsenal player.
Well, he's coming back. We sent him away. Now he's coming back.
To Turkey, though.
Out of all those transfers, Arsenal
he needs a bodyguard over there.
Well, we are in the market. We are in the market for a left back. So
there you go. So we don't have to pay for one now, right? We got one. Crap.
Oh, Stephen, I'll answer your question, but I'm going to go around the table. Who do we want to get done first here, Tony? All the transfers Arsenal trying to do. Maybe a position and a player that you want to get done first.
Wow.
We need.
Well, you know what? I didn't know that they were going to be looking for a director of football. So if they actually were going to do that, they should have done it already. The same time they did it, they got a director of football operations.
I thought
right?
Dick Garlick was supposed to be football director.
He's operations. He's just looking at paperwork, man.
Gary, give me a name and a position you want to fill.
What about
first.
Tony? You skipped over me.
Position, right? So, I'm gonna go with either. Can I? Is it only one name I can give?
Yeah. Steven,
all right, so I guess I'm gonna go with Bissouma then.
All right, Stan, I better go to Tony next year. He'll get ornery about it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Tony, position and name.
We need about 3 midfielders.
That's not what he said. Can you listen to the question? I don't understand why Ray gets crazy.
Ray said where?
He said one.
Where?
You said 3. He said 1.
Ray said 1. Come on.
As in first. You see in the question right down there, first.
Buendia.
Stan.
I think we should poach Donny van der Beek from Man United. I'm back on the Donny van der Beek train. He's not getting any minutes there. He cannot be happy. He's asked for showdown talks. You know how sweet I was on him before he went to Man United. But
Carlo wants him in
now the doors, this little chink of light is shining through. I don't think it could happen, but the position has to be somewhere in the midfield because we seem to be getting rid of a few players from the midfield. So yeah, with what GK just said, has to be a midfielder, maybe. And I'll agree with Tony, right? We do need more than one in that area.
Especially because we're going to be selling Carrera, we're going to be selling Guendouzi, we're going to be selling Zaka, so we need 3.
Oh, me and GK are just falling out now. Well, 1 minute we were cool, and then he comes up with a VD. It's funny how it can change so quick.
GK, Stan has been talking about Danny van der Beek for a while. Well, all right, so
ruined him. They've ruined him at United, man.
Carlo wants him at Madrid, supposedly.
All right, I'm gonna.
And Overmars is telling him to stay at Man United and take his time, prove himself.
I haven't forgotten about you, Alonso. Shit. You all see that?
Yep.
This is not good.
Broke my heart when you went there. Ugh.
The soul of the shoe or his soul?
But I must say, I'm a big fan of Odegaard, playing in that role. He's got a high ceiling as well. You know, I'm very keen on him, but for that sort of money, like we were just saying, Gary, for the sort of money that perhaps they would want, right, about maybe 50, 55 million, adding another 5, you could probably get Buendia and Basuma together.
Yep. No,
Basically
50
for one, isn't
no,
it?
there's no way we're paying 50 million this season, but what we should do, right, is do the loan with a option to buy, and then if they want 50 next season when we're hopefully in the top
After we
4.
won the Champions League, we're not even in that.
How about obligation to buy instead of option to buy?
After we've won something?
What about my obligation to buy? It'd be better with Gary.
Well, no, an option to buy that is our option.
I like obligation better. We have to buy him.
Well, either way.
He falls off a cliff and does a Danny Ceballos on us.
No, we don't. If we can get an option to buy, then I'll take that. But either way, we want him, right?
I like him, yeah.
I wonder what Arteta was doing at the airport today. Danny, don't go. Danny, don't go.
He probably works in the baggage carousel department now.
All right, I had a little control situation there. I don't know if you noticed that. Alonso, thanks for covering it up. Alonso, well,
did we lose him?
He's on Pornhub.
No. Alonso, first, you're
He's studying butterflies.
Oh, we lost him.
Definitely Pornhub, man.
We lost the screen.
Definitely Pornhub. I know.
Yeah, for not wanting to see Stan from the waist down. Now we definitely don't.
No. That's all right. Those stand ups.
I would not do that for any of you.
Did we lose him? I didn't even get to hear him speak.
We had the
Alonso.
spinning
Yeah, I'm
circle.
gonna try and bring him in. I am certainly having issues here.
So, right, you never said your player or position.
What's your player in position, Ray?
Me, yeah, I think central midfield. I want to get Bazuma in here. But
Every time that name comes up, I'm going to do that. Sorry.
Babazula.
We like you said, we need lots of midfielders. We got it. We're settled pretty much everywhere except for right back, but we need lots of midfielders. Right? I mean, even if we did nothing right now except for fill the midfield, I think I'll be happy with that. A right back would be nice, but it's not at the top. It's not at the top of the list if we can fix the midfield.
Basuma and Didgeridoo.
Well, no, I did. So my understanding is the window actually hasn't opened.
Not
Is that
until
right?
the 9th
Okay.
of June.
You can still lift your skirt up though to a player. Do you know what I mean? And start getting it a bit ready and that. You know, you're allowed to start chatting.
Yeah, you're allowed to do all that.
I was gonna say something, but it's probably no. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it.
Come on, Gary.
No.
Gary's censoring himself
Right,
already.
and it looks like
I am.
looks like looks like Guendouzi is definitely going as well.
Yeah. That's okay for me. I mean, if they don't want him, they don't want him. But
I just hate getting 15 to 20 million for him when he was valued at 50 million at one point.
well,
I just think he's really wasted an opportunity. You know, he was with an opportunity to play in the Premier League for Arsenal, and it looks like he's going to end up playing back in France again.
yeah.
You know,
Arsenal.
it looks like we're going to make a little bit of profit. You know, so a profit's a profit. So you know, it is what it is.
What do we end up paying
Everyone's
for him?
like all of our deals are like 8 million to like 15.
That's what we paid for him originally, wasn't it? 8?
Yeah, around that.
Guendouzi.
Yeah. I think we paid 8 for him.
I'm really disappointed in the amount of money potentially that we're going to get back for Guendouzi.
It's not
Why?
going to be much,
I don't think,
unfortunately.
10 million, 12 million is probably about reasonable, I'd say.
I don't know if you guys saw that. There's some report talking about Buendia and Emi Martinez talking at the Euros practice or whatever, which is not a good thing for us because we don't have anybody playing with those guys that can talk to Buendia, but Villa does.
Did you also see that Aston Villa apparently they said they're interested in Emil Smith-Rowe?
Yep.
As he hasn't signed the contract yet. I saw that a few places yesterday. I was pissing myself.
Who started that?
That's
rumor?
like everybody's interested in Messi, Ronaldo. Everybody's interested. I mean, if that happened,
Yeah.
if that happened, no,
What's the other name that's getting a lot of traction as well? Sander Berg.
Yeah.
I don't think I like that. I don't think I like him for us,
No.
You
Arsenal.
might as well just keep Xhaka if we're going to
Yeah.
go down that right. You might as well that's just for me. It's just that's not an upgrade. That's just a like for like swap.
Yeah, and that's, I think, Stan, that's why the club needs to prove to us through their actions and not their words this summer. We need to see what their intent is going to be this summer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Lonzo, talk to me. Not talking to anyone?
So, I think that Buendia was most likely, but I think it'd be kind of cool to see Basuma in there as well because I kind of like his style of play, especially if you have Party there with him. That'll make a difference for us. And Xhaka, to me, doesn't have it anymore. He never did have it. So he's just too rushed of a player for Arsenal now. But I like the feeling a lot. I think he means a lot more than what Xhaka does. And I think he'd be more important for us as a team moving forward.
As
Like
GK says here, I'll take Buendia this summer and be satisfied. I wanted him last season when no one was paying any attention to him when he was only 25 million, but now he's hyped up. The value has tripled. I do think that he's worth it, though, but we'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of back and forth in this one, and we're up against Aston Villa, and surely if we move as a club, we have to outflank Aston Villa. Couple other things here is let's go with the Luis Campos, and this was disappointing today, Gary, that we thought we were in for him, but now it's more of an advisory capacity to help Edu, and we're learning on the job a little bit here.
The fact that he's in the building is a plus, right? We always talked about having like Henry and Bergkamp kind of in practice with the guys, helping them out. This is no different, but this is where we really need it, right? We really need someone to help those guys out and maybe organize them a little bit better. I mean, I think with the inclusion of Garlic, it's gonna, I think that would be a plus because now you've got, you got Dick.
The way you said it sounded like an ingredient.
Just add a little garlic. Garlic, it tastes good, man. It tastes good. Just roast it a little bit, But no, I think it would be if he wanted to come in and help Arsenal. Why not? Maybe it leads to something bigger. Maybe he's not ready to take over and do all the work anyways. But he's ready to lead. And that's what we need: leadership, right? He would provide that.
Hey Ray, is it Luis or Luis?
I'm taking Stan's lead and saying Luis, right? Luis. I think he's Portuguese.
I think with his geezer, Campos, if he's the kind of if he's going to have the kind of role where it's a case of he's in the setup in the huddle, right? He's in the huddle with Arteta and Adu. And Arteta sat there and he's going, you know what? I think we should get Willian from Chelsea and give him a 3-year contract. I want Campos to be that person that's like, what? No. Just no, stop it now. No, that's not where we're at. You know, I want someone who's going to be like that because I don't think that we have that person. You know, someone who's going to sometimes will say, "Hold on a minute, maybe you want to go and sleep on that, and then we'll chat in the morning." And if that's what his role is going to be, then I'm all for it because I think that's one area where we're seriously lacking. Obviously, Dick Garlick can't fill that role because he's not a football-y person. Obviously, he's in charge of the money side of it, but on the football side, you'd think that he'd be looking at the recommendations of Mikel Edus. They'd be saying, yeah, it's a good deal, man. 3 years for Willian. Oh, it's a steal. Just sign a contract. And he's like, all right, do you know what I mean? But this guy, he knows a little bit about the actual game. I suppose when we were looking at bringing in Monchi would have probably been in that similar role, right? Am I right? Sort of that sort of area, kind of job in the club. Then, we need this person. You know, maybe Mikel and Edu were sitting there thinking, oh, fucking hell, we can't do whatever we want there. You know what I mean? The game's up. We can't just like ride roughshod anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I did look at Garlick's, CV, and he's done football. He's actually been like a football guy. Where I forgot where he was before he went to the PL or FA, whatever it's called. But he did actually do football where he did I think he did a lot of management. So like running like the academy and stuff like that, which I think is we're going to need that, right? We're redoing that whole academy anyways, right? So we have another brain to add to this, to the think tank, right? So right. I think the more we need, like I've been saying this all the time, we need somebody between KSC and Arteta. So the more people we have in there, I think the better we're going to be. So that should have been already done already because we needed him a couple of weeks ago before we got into this window.
Well, it just worries me, Gary, that it's he seems to be he's going to be an advisory, a consultation. It seems to be cheap. It seems to be easy, and Arsenal are going about this the wrong way, in my opinion.
That's right up Crumpton's Johnson, isn't it? Cheap and easy.
Right up that alley. Right up their alley.
If this guy comes with all that, you think he's going to take a step back to do this job for Arsenal, who just finished 8th and knocked out of the European, games for like the first time in 25 years? He's going to take this job and give 25% the rest of the time he's golfing? I hope that's not what's happening, but that's what it sounds like you're saying, that he's not going to give us 100% of his,
and that's what it seems like. Tony's go.
Every time Mikel needs some advice, he's phoning him. You can see Campos is on like the fucking 9th hole, big cigar in his mouth, about to take his friend. Yeah, what? I'm just about to take a shot. Yeah, sorry, what are you saying? It's just like fucking not even there.
You're giving me the feeling of Raul Sinier just there and then, and I'm hoping that this guy's not. Tony, he has come with good credentials with background in Monaco and background in Lille, and he has turned those sides around. They've both won the leagues recently since he's been with them. Numerous names he has taken and turned them into big players, and we've actually got a couple of them on our books in Pepe and Gabriel right now.
Yeah, he seems like he does good with those clubs, and he's good at the young players, helping develop them. So hopefully he can come here. If he does come here, I still would like to see Overmars come, but I'll keep beating that drum as long as I can.
What are you laughing, Ray?
If they're looking at Campos, then they should also be looking at Overmars. Whether or not he comes, that's a different story, right? We're talking about getting all these other players. They don't have to come to us. So that's the same thing. When Dia doesn't have to come to us, he can go to Villa, right? They've got European, Villa? Yeah. Not Villa. Villa, yeah. So,
I'm laughing because Tony rolls out the same names podcast after podcast.
I like Overmars, so I'm with Tony. That deal should have been done as soon as he said he wasn't going to be working at Ajax anymore.
Ajax.
Right?
I like Dennis
Ajax.
Bergkamp as well, but he's not. And I like.
No, but he's
Daniel
not. He's not. What is he available for? Come on, dude. No, don't go there.
We got to use.
No, this guy is actually employable. All right.
We got an under 23 coach spot. Dennis will fit right in there.
Yeah.
Alonso, we have good relationships with Lille as a club, so hopefully that Luis Campos can come and work at Arsenal, help Edu in the system, and start identifying players that we can get.
Do we get him on a 5-year deal?
Yeah,
5-year payment plan.
Go ahead, Alonso.
Alonso?
Go ahead. We got two Alonso, so I'll let Alonso Jr. talk, man. Yeah, but I think that from where I saw today also, or maybe somewhere else, that we're in for a right back as well. I don't know if that's true or not, or if you guys saw it or not either. But he's been pretty good, a good right back for us. So, like you say, Ray, I think that our business with Lille has been pretty good of late. So, yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic about this Luis Campos guy. He seems to have he seems to be very helpful and very smart about doing business. And so, I hope he can help us out, help Edu out to get us back on top.
Yeah, get us back on the road. All right, switch gears a little bit, Tony. We're going to talk about the goalkeeping situation. Onana is a goalkeeper we can possibly pick up for very cheap. A couple of years ago, he was 30 million plus.
50 million. 50 million.
50 million plus. Your credibility is your credit's not that great. So
yeah, you ain't got a lot in the bank, Tony.
Yeah, I do.
This is the guy who said that Liverpool would win the league in our prediction podcast. So I'm going to go somewhere between my 30 and Tony's 50 million.
I really thought that no one could be bothered to go all the way back to the podcast to try and find it. But Tony was wrong.
Tony kept saying the whole year.
Ray went back and gave us the second marker to check on. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Totally convinced us.
I have no doubt that his audio and video splicing capabilities are pretty good, and that's how he's able to actually say, you know what, at 22.3 seconds, you'll see it. He says it right there. So
yeah.
Wow.
I still want to know
Tony.
how Ray won the upset challenge.
Tony, when Ajax got up to the semi-final of the Champions League, Onana was a big part of their team. But he is under a doping ban right now, and that could complicate things. And hopefully Arsenal are looking to take advantage of the situation, Tony.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on that because I said it was a 12-month ban, but now it seems like it could be longer. So it
is a 12-month ban. It could be less actually than that. And Stan, we have an opportunity maybe to steal a march in our competition here for cheaper price again. We're seeing a theme here, Stan.
I mean, come on, man. This Onana thing is right up Arsenal street. I mean, we love buying players that are injured, for example. We buy, they're free at the end of the season.
Kim Calster.
Right, we think, no, you're injured now, but you know what? We're going to give you $5 million to come and play, to come to us now, even though you can't play. And you're going to be free at the end of the season. We'll do all of that now. So knowing our luck, we would buy a goalkeeper that can't play for 12 months because he's banned for doping. That's right up our alley and all. It wouldn't surprise me at all. William Saliba, we'll shell out 30 million for a defender, but we ain't going to let him kick a ball in angle for us for 2 seasons. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, I could see it happening.
Yeah, Gary, it does have the smell of Stan Kroenke and Arsenal all over it, Gary.
You make it sound like Stan Kroenke actually knows what he's doing, and actually, I don't think that guy knows what he. This has nothing to do with Stan Kroenke. These are the wardens off the floor, and inmates are going crazy. That's what's going on here. I mean,
I say as well, if Arsenal had any serious kind of intent and really wanted to, you can make an approach to a player, right? And the player can say no, but at least you can say, listen, look, this is what we're trying to do here, right? Gigi Donnarumma is available on a free. And for me, I think he's one of the best prospects and one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. You know, he sounds like he's been around for years and years, Donnarumma. But he's fucking, what is he? What, early 20s?
Yeah, 20 years old.
He's younger than fucking Chesney. He's available on a free. Doesn't mean that we'll get him, but we should be showing an intent. Do you know what I mean? And saying, look, we'd like to try and get this guy. And speaking of Chesney, it would seem that Donnarumma could be going and taking his place if that happens, right? So Chesney's kind of been speaking very fondly of Arsenal again, and I'm always a little bit weary of players coming back.
Yeah,
you know, obviously Henry was the difference because it was a very short period of time. But if Leno wants out and doesn't want to be at Arsenal, and I am a Leno fan, performance-wise, he's done a couple of. There have been some mistakes, but goalkeeper can have mistakes. But I like him. I think what we paid for him was value for money. But if he doesn't want to hang around, I wouldn't be too, bad about Chesney coming back. Maybe him going away like he has for a while will help him. I always thought it was just a little bit immature. A nice lad, good keeper, but maybe now he'll be coming back a little bit more mature, and I wouldn't mind a little bit more Chesney.
Who, you know what? Go ahead.
So,
Go on,
but will Arteta fancy him though?
Will Arteta what?
Will Arteta fancy him?
Who knows?
Who knows exactly?
He played with him, so he probably would.
The thing is, it would be an Arteta signing.
Right.
And that's the key with Arteta. Do you know what I mean? If he came back in, it would be because Arteta says, "I want to bring him in." He's the right age. You know, he's not past it. It's not like we're doing a Petr check.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's still at the right age. He's probably just coming into his prime. He's a fucking gooner through and through and all. He got it.
Hey, Stan, but
Got it.
Yeah. It's okay to get it. Hector Bellerin gets it as well.
He's a
but
good keeper. I actually think Chesney is a very good keeper. I think he's one of the best. He's up there. He's up there in the top 20 in Europe for sure. For me.
So, Stan,
I
you
love
would
him
take
every time we play Spurs. He's always comments on everything.
Let's do a quick vote here. Stan would take him back. I would not take him back. Tony, would you take him back?
Of course I would. He hates Tottenham. What else do you need?
Tottenham.
Alonso, would you take Chesney back?
Yeah, because he's Arsenal through and through, and he's Tottenham.
Yeah,
but that's only the first requirement. You have to be good enough as well.
I don't know. Gary looks like really serious on this. I bet it's
Gary. So it's
Gary?
3-2-1, Gary. 3-1.
The 3 want to bring him back.
Yeah, I'm against it. Would you bring Chesney back?
I don't think it would. No, I don't want to bring him back. No. One question I had to ask though was, as far as our goalkeepers go, we've had look at all the former goalkeepers for Arsenal, except for when Arsenal's going to break this streak though when he finally leaves. But all of the other ones that have left since I've actually got a chance to look at Arsenal, they're all playing. Is that who? What goalkeeper is that? Goalkeeper coach still with us, or is he gone? Because if that's the case, then we need to make sure we're bringing in goalkeepers that are pretty good, really good, right? Really good.
I used to know the name of the goalkeeping coach that we had under Arsene Wenger.
Gary.
Who was it?
Gary.
If I heard the name, and he was the guy that was training Chesney and Fabianski and keepers like Almunia. And
I think it was an Irish. I think it was an Irish.
But there's been so many bad reports about him. Really, real bad reports about him. But Arsene Wenger being Arsene Wenger, get to the end of every season and he'd still renew, keep this guy on because he has a family and mouths to feed and stuff like that. And he's very loyal, right, Arsene?
And now we just got a new goalkeeper coach.
So many bad reports about the training, very boring, and a lot of our goalkeepers said it, but it's all changed I think it changed probably with Emery coming in. I don't know who it is now. We've got the guy
We
that
just got a new one. I don't know who he is.
Runnison, right? You got to go and get this guy.
That's my concern is that no matter who we bring in,
we didn't even look at him. He was like, the goalkeeper says so. Let's go and get Runnison. And what did Runnison do? Man just threw the ball in the back of the net. I'm like, well, what are you doing?
I just feel we're gonna corrupt. We're gonna corrupt the whatever players come in, right? That's my concern. So you bring in Chesney, who's he has been here, he's gone, he's coming back, and then he comes in and he looks terrible. You're like, what's going on here? Like Ryan came in. Ryan probably hasn't been infected yet. That's why he looked the way he did.
Like fucking Arsenal's a Walking Dead.
It's like Contagion, I don't know. It's like who's patient zero and stuff like that. I don't know if you saw that movie Contagion, where it's like Agent Zero and the bats flying and all that stuff. So everybody comes in, you get a little infected. Next thing you know, your play just degrades. That's my concern.
Yeah, we got a new goalkeeper coach though.
I don't like him.
You don't like him?
So,
He hasn't shown us.
He picked Renarson. Oh, we mean the guy who didn't? The guy who
He's
picked
brand
Renarson's
new.
gone, right?
Brand new guy.
Oh, brand new guy. All right. We'll give him a chance,
Gary
right?
asking me to take my glasses off. He's like, what's wrong with you? I've got sun coming in right from here. But just me, Don Juan. I'm not. Don Juan thinks I'm one of them guys that like you see them people. They go into a nightclub and they're walking around in sunglasses, and it's like a fucking nightclub, mate. You know what I mean? Like you got sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Gary just thinks you're Maverick.
No, no, that's his Top Gun look on
It's
the top.
Maverick.
And then he's got his motorcycle gang look right below, and nobody wants to see what's below that.
It's really hot here.
It's hot. Yeah.
I thought Stan was Morpheus.
So, listen, before we get on to the next topic, let's just talk this out a little bit, Gary. We have another situation like last season. Hopefully we got two good goalkeepers. Bernd Leno is starting to say, I've got options, but I think essentially he's happy in London. He wants to stay, but he always seems to want to look around a little bit. We've got maybe Matt Ryan coming back, and we've got Onana in the background as well. So hopefully our goalkeeper situation doesn't become a situation throughout the summer.
Yeah, no, I hope we might have three goalkeepers when it's all said and done, right? So, I actually liked Ryan. We just need to keep him healthy. If he was healthy, it should be a no-brainer, right?
No-brainer.
I mean, he came in and he was been hurt like half the time, and half the time when he got to play, he was good. But we need him to be able to play a lot more games. I mean, I think if he puts pressure on Leno will do more than he's doing. He would have done last season. So, got to keep that guy healthy. Whoever our physio is needs to keep Ryan healthy so Leno gets better. I mean, we saw Leno actually come out and I think clear the ball, hit it at its highest point. I don't think I've ever seen him do that, like in the middle in traffic. I mean, he probably doesn't like that because he falls to the ground and then he gets hurt, and gets scuffed. But that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
What are you making fun of my coconut water for?
Can Gary get a bigger box of coconut water?
As big as it comes, man.
All right,
That's what she said.
let's roll to the next section here. Alonso, football is a simple game. How can Arsenal get better next season? I've got lots of bullet points here, but let's throw a few at each other here and talk it out.
So last year, when Chambers came on, the background of the team, Tony's boy Chambers, I thought that he did great. I thought that he as a makeshift right back, he did pretty well for himself. And the way that he brought back, Emilio Rowe back in the starting 11 and then put Saka on the right, he changed that. He changed a little bit in his thinking, right? So he made changes. Rather players were hurt, then so be it. But he made changes. So he's got to learn how to feed off that and feed off of the 5 straight wins that we got in the league, right? And he can't be afraid to make changes from the formations and just play the players that fit that system. And if the players don't perform, he can't be afraid to make changes, right? So I think he has to be more stern and not have his sons Arteta around anymore because that hurt. And yeah. I mean, just go with the flow. Just have your same start 11 until someone gets hurt.
Yeah, Gary, there's a stat going around, so something like 30 or higher different
37
lineup
out of
changes
38 games was a different lineup.
every single game.
37 of 38.
He almost got 38 out of 38. So one time he did pick the same lineup.
Yeah, you know what? It's
Right?
it's the wheel of fortune. He spun it, and sometimes it hits the same number twice. I mean, that's what happened to our lineup. We got the same lineup twice, and otherwise it was different. Yeah, he needs to figure out its starting 11 and start with that, and then build from, and then figure out what, if he needs to change players and change them, but he needs to find that starting 11 first so they can play most of the matches, right? Especially now. I mean, we shouldn't have to go to our bench. We shouldn't have to go to our squad and change up the starting lineup every other game. That just doesn't make any sense. That's why we need to make sure we go out there and get the players we need, because who cares about the bench as much, right? Because they're going to get chances to rest. And we have solid youth that we could bring up if we needed to, right? So, dude, make it easy on us. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's a simple game. It should be easy, but Arteta's going to screw it up. At least that's what we've seen so far.
Stan, a simple game. You stop the ball from going in the net. You score a few more goals, and we did the first part of that. We stopped a few more goals going in against us last season, but we need to score more goals next season as well, and we need to get more goals from midfield as well, and we need to get all of our players scoring more.
I watched the Champions League final, and I learned so much from that. The arrogance of Pep Guardiola. I mean, you've been working for a season with a set plan, which includes a holding midfield of either like Fabinho or Rodrigo. Okay, through injury and lack of form, we've been playing a bit of a false nine, but you've got a player like Sergio Aguero who's going to make his swan song, from the club, and you just change it all around. I mean, you take out the holding midfielder. You play a player that's been out of form in Sterling. You start playing that false nine. And I was watching it and I was like, this reminds me of the first leg of the Europa semi-final, right? With Mikel Arteta when he decided he was going to play Emil Smith-Rowe, a young lad from the academy who's just coming up into the first squad. Now he's going to play him as a first, false nine in one of the most important games of the season. If I was the owners of Man City, I mean, that's the jewel in the crown, right? That's the one that they want. They want the Champions League title, right? And if I'd watched my manager, with all of the resources that I've given him, do that, I'd have fired him in the morning, just in pure arrogance. I mean, and then when you do decide to bring on the striker because you're chasing the goal, you're going to bring on Jesus ahead of Aguero. I mean, what are you trying to prove? And to who? Are you trying to prove to me that strikers are no longer needed in the game of football? They're now defunct. They're no longer required. Why? Because Pep Guardiola says so. I can't buy into that, and I really hope that a lot of that has not rubbed off onto our manager, and I've seen it already. Yeah, and the other thing is, and it goes hand in hand to what Gary was saying. These two things go together. What I've just said and what Gary just said is stability in the team. I want our goalkeeper, whoever it may be, to know who his back four is in front of them, so he can build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
No matter what their languages are, maybe he can start picking up some of the language It's not one he speaks, by working with them, right? By key words. But also that we'll have a pair of centre-backs that will have a partnership and will get to know each other and have a bit of telepathy. A midfield partnership. All this tinkering, all this Claudio Ranieri Tinkerman crap, that's got to stop. You know, he's been managing Arsenal too long now not to know his first 11. It's inexcusable. So what I don't want to see is that he goes into this transfer market, you know, he spends all the money wherever it is, and then when we start to play games, you know, let's say he goes out and he you know, Lacazette goes and he brings in, for example, Edouard from Celtic, another favourite that I'd like to see play for Arsenal. But then we start the season and Edouard's on the bench and he's playing Joe Willock, who's back off loan as a false nine. I swear to God, my TV would just go out the window. Do you know what I mean? My foot would probably go through it because that's how he's coming across to me.
How many stories is that?
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter about the price of the money to buy the personnel because he comes up with these crackpot ideas overnight. You know, I'm going to play this guy at left back. I'm going to play this. I'm going to do this. Do you know what I mean? Tomorrow we've all got to wear fucking bowler hats. You're like, what are you talking about, mate? You just can't make shit up. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I want the defence to fucking use unicycles. You're like, mate, what are you doing? There's too much of it, you know. And as it says, yeah, football is a simple game. Score goals. Don't let the opposition score against you. That's basically it. Really?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Score more than the other team. Try not to let them score. So I don't understand why he's trying to fucking reinvent the wheel and make it more complicated.
I think exactly right, Stan. He makes it more complicated completely. Tony, reducing our squad may actually help. We had 56 games last season. We're gonna have 14 games less than we had last season. No Europa League, no European football, no Conference League, nothing. So this may help Arteta.
I think the thing that's help him the most is having fans back in the stands to drown out his constant Danny and micromanaging the game. He's constantly shouting at the players.
Yeah, and hold him and the players accountable. And the players have said they actually do prefer the fans in the stadium. It is something. It does help them to perform and to lift their game.
Yeah, I think it will. I think Arteta has a lot to prove. I still think he needs to go to manager boot camp during the summer because his Lego binary doesn't make much sense to anybody except for him. Yeah, hopefully
ding, ding. He got it in there. He got Lego binary in there. Let's try to make that trend. Okay, I'm going to say something controversial here. Maybe it's controversial, maybe it's not. It's been talked about before. Alonso, in order to move forward with Arteta's team, he needs to make Kieran Tierney captain.
Why is his hand up already? Isn't it? You didn't
Because
ask
I
the
didn't
question.
answer his question.
Let's go to toilet.
When you leave a gap of more than 3 seconds, I'm moving on.
Tony, if you have to go, just go, buddy.
Hey, man.
Just go, man.
Yeah, if you need to go to the bathroom, go.
I don't need to go to the bathroom. Might after a few of these beers are strong as hell.
All right, Tony, did you have something to add to your comments already?
I didn't kind of answer your question there. You're talking about depth and cutting the squad down. We didn't have any depth last year. Having fewer competitions probably will help with that. But I still don't think we have enough depth. Like I said, we need 3 or 4 more midfielders. We're going to sell Guendouzi. We're going to sell Torreira, sell Xhaka. So we're going to have to be bringing in players there. And I don't know where the young players are they get it in, where they give it in the League Cup or FA Cup. Where's the young players that get any time to play?
As Stephen said here, no European football, fans back in the stadium. Arsenal and Arteta have no excuse and nowhere to hide this season. Exactly right, Stephen. Alonso, controversial. Make Kieran Tierney the captain. Be done with it. And move forward with the new young Arteta team. And if Aubameyang stays, he's going to be the striker.
Yeah, and I think that Aubameyang, aka Boomerang, can't really handle the captaincy very well, in my opinion. And Arteta should have done this his first year instead of keeping Emery's captains, right? And he should have known from practices and watching the games when Lundberg was in charge that, I think Tierney has it. And he has the captain tendencies. It shows that his leadership values as well. That even though he's Scottish, he's aware that Arsenal. He has an Arsenal DNA, I guess, right? So you want to have a guy who knows the Arsenal way, who understands how to fight for their badge, and Aubameyang doesn't have that. I think that Aubameyang was just given an armband, had his armband because of Xhaka's disciplinary actions, and I think that due to that, because he was next in charge, right? So there's a ladder, and Emery had Xhaka was next in line. Then he had Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Bellerin, right? So when Bellerin leaves, that will leave captaincy open as well as Xhaka. They're going to somewhere, I would hope, and so that opens up some spots for Arteta to name captains, and I think Tierney should be at least one of them, if not the captain, as a team. So there's that, So I think Tierney should wear the captain's armband.
Yeah, great point, Gary. When hopefully Granit Xhaka moves on and Jose Mourinho buys him for 20 million at least.
I think they belong together personally. Jose and Xhaka, they belong together.
Like Manchester United and Mourinho. But Gary, that will leave a vacuum in the dressing room, and I think the vacuum is much needed because Tierney can take that vacuum, and maybe if he's captain, he can move with it. And Bellerin was vice captain, Granit Xhaka was captain once upon a time, and Tierney can grow further in that role.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at if we're aspiring to be a top 4 team, Aubameyang or whatever you call him,
A boomerang.
Bellerin, Holding. Who are our other captains? Is that it? Just those?
Lacazette
Xhaka and Lacazette. Like the only one really for me that's doing any kind of leadership is Lacazette. Yep. And that's because he's doing it with the youth, right?
Yep.
That's the only thing. Yep. Everybody else, nah. But you know what? The problem is as Tony said, go ahead, Tony. Tell us why the captaincy. Just give us the 2 words.
Colin Chambers.
Come on, Tony. You can say it.
What 2 words?
Oh,
Colin Chambers.
The Lego binary is the reason why the captaincy is the mess it is. I mean, if it's his team, why would he have to have 5 captains?
He doesn't have
right.
to.
Emery had to have 5 captains. Now Arteta had to have 5 captains.
Team, you don't need to have 5 captains. Especially, he just came from City. They have the ultimate captain, right?
Yep, captain and vice captain. It's simple.
Right, but they have a captain, right? Solid player. Yeah. When he's missing, it. We don't. The player that we miss right now is Tierney, right? When he's gone, we know everything kind of breaks down because we have to cover for him. Lacazette leaves, we're all right. Aubameyang leaves, we're all right. Xhaka is out, we're okay. Holding, we're okay. Bellerin, okay. All right. Tierney, like the next play, like outside of the youth, right? Saka and Milshif Rowe, that's it, right? As far as players that we definitely need to lean on and definitely have captain before. I mean, Tierney's captain, he has that leadership quality since, for years now. This isn't something he just picked up because, you just rolled the dice and you got it, right? Because that's what Aubameyang, that's how he got it, right? But
Tierney decided to do contracts, how he got it.
Yeah, so it should be easy, and that's the problem. I don't think Arteta realizes this is his team. He can do what he wants. He does it sometimes. He picks and chooses, and he doesn't always choose right. Right? This captaincy things are what It's not. I would rather have Tierney the captain this year, and then Lacazette. That's it. Done.
Gary,
they don't have to play, right? To be a captain.
Gary,
Yeah.
Right?
So
Yeah.
I don't mind. This may sound dumb to you, Gary, but I don't mind Holden being captain because here's why. Before you laugh and all that stuff.
Hear him out, and then we'll.
Arteta, he had no choice to have Holden as captain, right? Because all these injuries and all these players not playing, like Lacazette was missing, Ryan was missing, so was Bellerin. And I think Luis also wore the captain's armband for a little bit as well. So it kind of tells you that this team has leaders. It just isn't put the armband around them for some reason. So I don't have a problem with Holden because he is English and a center back. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I don't know. It's just the best right now to have leaders and captains on the team right now. But I think Tierney should give a shot for it because he is that leader we were lacking.
Yeah, Stan. Alonso's put forward Rob Holding. He doesn't strike me as in any way, shape, or form a captain. Xhaka, you can see where his captain tendencies were pretty decent. Lacazette and whoever else was, David Luiz was pretty good, but Rob Holding, I think he needs to concentrate on defending. Personally, myself, my question would be, Tierney can be captain. I mean, irrespective of his injury record. I mean, you don't have to be on the field to be the club captain.
Yeah, we did that with Arteta.
All right, Tony.
He played 24 games last season.
I've been sitting here patiently, Tony.
Sorry.
Even though Tierney will be injured,
I've been waiting to get around to this because we've had a lot of captains, right? Since I've been supporting Arsenal, very kind of different personalities, right? I mean, the two I would say in the time that I've been supporting Arsenal, the two standouts for me would be Tony Adams and Patrick Vieira. Both led Arsenal to some really big and great things. But if you look at them, very different personalities. The one thing that they do have in common is that they do a lot of their captaining on the pitch with the way that their style of play is, where they can grab a game by the scruff of the neck when needed and help drag the players around them over the line. But their personalities are very different. So arching round now to looking at for the captain for the day, I honestly think that it's obvious to everybody that Tierney is a captain in waiting, because Tierney, if he was to be a captain, to me, he seems that he would probably be the closest style of captain that we've had since Tony Adams. Very much in that, they seem to be very much the way that they would captain. It would be in a similar mold. I think it would probably bring a tear to Tony Adams' eye watching Tierney captain. He could probably see a lot of himself, right? However, as much as we all think that he's the heir apparent, I'm not sure that he's going to get a shot at being captain until Aubameyang, Lacazette, Hector Bellerin, Granit Xhaka, for sure, are definitely out of the club. And then you got a long shot of maybe Holding, maybe Chambers. Chambers could maybe fit in as a vice captain. The problem you've got with Holding being made captain is this: you fucking snooker yourself, right? Because Rob Holding is not going to go for a whole season and be fantastic. He's going to pull some rickets along the way. Good squad player. I don't mind him being a squad player, and he's kind of like, when he's played a lot of games this season just gone now, but it's almost like he was being held together by masking tape. It was like if the season went on for another day, he would have just fucking collapsed in a heap, and it would just be like a fucking Jenga block. the bricks would just fallen. So I'm not sure that we can turn around and say, well, next season going forward, our centre backs pairing is either one of Pablo Mari or Gabriel and Rob Holding, because it's obvious that we've been linked with a lot of other right-sided centre backs. Even though for me, I'd still like to see Big Bill Saliba come in and get a bit of a shout. You know, be the third guy coming on, playing games and stuff like that. But I just don't think that Rob Holding has got the standing in the squad to be given the armband. It's obvious that at any time he's going to get better dealed. You know, like when you go home with that rough bird from the nightclub because you had a few beers, right? You wake up in the morning and that, and she's like, "Okay, let's go and have lunch," and you're like, "Fuck, I'm going to get seen." But I've got nothing else to do. So I've got nothing else going on, so I may as well. But you're even when you're out at lunch, you're looking around for other birds. You're ready to bet a deal out. The next minute, the best next deal comes along, out with the old, in with the new, and that's where Rob Holding is. He's on the cusp. But you're not going to give him. I love my missus, by the way. I've been a bit. Right?
Yeah, good one.
Right?
I can see why Stan was waiting 10 minutes to talk.
My mum's going to be watching this later and going, "Oh my god!" But he's on that cusp. So as much as I like him and I want him around the squad, you're not going to give him the armband. But eventually, it's going to get given to Holding. Until those players have all gone, I don't see it happening. But I can still think he could be the vice captain with any one of those others wearing the armband until they've all fucked off. And most of them are going to be fucked off anyway because most of them are fucking shite.
Yeah, I mean, Hector Bellerin's going to move on, Tony. Granit Xhaka hopefully is going to move on, and David Luiz has moved on. So there is a leadership vacuum, and hopefully Tierney can take that mantle and move forward.
I think he also, sorry, just to bite in quickly, he also captained Celtic a lot in Scott Brown's absence. You know, when Scott Brown weren't playing. And I used to live up in Edinburgh. I'm now fanatical up at that neck of the woods. So for him at that young age to be accepted to step in, on the Old Firm games against Rangers and some of that, he's obviously got something about him because it would have been found out already being a captain up there.
Yeah. Tony, another aspect where we could be better next season is we don't have European football, and certain teams will have that team that shall not be named down the road. They have some kind of European football. There's going to be locomotive trains going through their stadiums where they're playing at. Leicester City.
Yeah, I get that.
Leicester City and West Ham will need to improve their squads to cope with European football as well. Can we benefit from those?
Of Tottenham having to stop games while a guy fucking herds load of goats and that across the pitch to get into the next field. You got to stop while that happens, and then you resume the game.
Somebody's picking turnips. They're in the middle of the match.
And if we'd have been in the Europa Conference, it would have been so difficult to find streams or to see where the games were. I think the interest would have really waned. So maybe we did. Maybe it's a good thing we avoided that Conference League, Europa Conference League. But West Ham may struggle, Leicester may struggle, and that team down the road may struggle, Tony. So although it's not been proven, the gap to the Crystal Palace, we only won that one in the last 9 minutes of the game. It's not been proven that we may benefit from rest every week. Is in a possibility we could benefit from that.
I still like playing in Europe. I think it's a crime not to be playing in Europe after 25 years. Like I said, last year we were struggling with depth. If we cut our squad down further, we're still going to be struggling with depth, even though we're just pretty much playing in the Premier League and say fuck off to the FA Cup and League Cup.
Gary, it could be an advantage to us against those three teams. That puts us automatically in the top 6 race.
Yeah.
You're not buying it?
It should be. We should be better than last year. We definitely. The expectation is that we're going to be better than last year, right? That means Saka is going to be better, and Mills Rowe is going to be better. Tierney hopefully is going to be healthier. Partey will be acclimated. I mean, the core of the team is going to be better, right?
Yep.
Either from health or just the fact that they've been playing together, and hopefully whatever Arteta is, planning for the preseason gets the team ready to go. Those 4 players and Gabriel for me have to be ready to go, right?
Can I ask you raised a very good point, Gary, and I'd like to ask everybody and anyone in the chat as well, if you're still hanging in with us, what would you say for next season is what's the acceptable finish point for Arsenal next season in the league? Would you say, okay, we finish at 9th this season? What would you say would be acceptable next season, guys?
We have to be in the top 4. So
Points.
we have to be in the top 4, which means we can't be wasting this transfer window.
So if we finish in
right?
that band where we can get into the Europa League, you'd still think that we'd underachieve. It's got to be back at the top table for you.
You got to be competing for top 4. Yeah, we got to.
Give me a point.
We had players this season that could have got us in the top 4, right? We're 6 points off top 4 this season, with worse coaching, injuries, COVID, everything, VAR, everything, right? Losing 8 out of 15 games to start the season. We can't lose 8 games. 8 games for the whole season might be okay, right? 8 out of 15 to start, that he's done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 6 out of 15, he's done. I mean, there's no way.
If we have a mirror image of what happened last season, then he is definitely done. And, Stan and I are hanging on by 10 or 15% here, maybe 20%. That's what we said in this level.
It's like I want to look at that. I want to look at that, the schedule to see what games we play.
Oh, that's coming up in 13 days. 2 weeks from now, we'll be going over that schedule. Gary, I'm going to push you for points. I know you said you wanted me in top 4, but I'm going to nail everyone down on points here.
Well, I'm not going to go crazy like last time.
You always got points, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say 68. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the number I had, 68. Alonso?
I say 70, 72.
72. Okay.
Yeah, but what place are we finishing in the league as well, Alonso? What for you is that the minimum acceptable? Gary says it's 4th place for him. Don Juan also says 4th. What's yours?
I think it'd be 3. I think 3rd place, because here's why. If
you say 3rd?
Yeah,
3rd.
Because if we finish the way we did, that gives us a little bit more momentum, right, and head into next season. So there's no reason why we can't finish 3rd place.
So if we get in 4th place, you're going to be pissed off. You're like, fuck this is bullshit.
It'll be like,
this is bullshit.
I think you'll cut him a break if we get 4th place and just miss out on 3rd, right?
Right. I mean, that's ideal, right? I mean, we always have to aim for top 4, but like Gary had said, we had a talent to be a top 4 team, and that's what hurt. I think, yeah.
All right.
3rd, 4th place will be fine.
Tony, it's Arsenal. It's not Liverpool. And what's your points finish?
Anything under 70 is a disappointment, I think.
Okay.
With no
European
football.
We'll set you at 70, okay?
Yeah, I said 72 last year, so how low are my expectations, even though we don't have European football?
Just so we're clear, what is the point, 72 or 70?
70.
Okay.
You should be you should be a politician, mate. Fucking slippery. You're slippery as fuck, mate.
We're gonna set the timestamp as well. We'll tell you what timestamp this is, so that 9 months from now you can come back to us. Stan, answer your own question, Stan. What points do you want us to finish on?
Can you remind me of how many points we finished on this season?
61.
Woo! Jeez.
Dan's like,
56.
shit, that's bad.
What did you go?
56
What did you go with, Ray? You went with.
I went with 68.
Okay, Alonso went with 72. Gary went with
68.
68 also.
8. Tony went with timestamp
70.
70.
Tony timestamp. That's his new nickname, Tony timestamp.
And the team that won the league, how many points did they have?
I thought it was 83.
something
83.
like that.
83.
And that was low for this year.
Somebody said it'd be
I'm
low.
going to go. I've been finishing 4th is my minimum. I agree. Listening to that, there's a part of me that says that the minimum acceptable should be the Europa League. Like the minimum that I would accept. If you finish outside of the Europa League or ending up in that, what is it? Europa fucking B Tech, whatever, Sainsbury's.
Conference Cup.
I mean, all right, there's still more games, right? We get to see our youth play. But the minimum for me, the minimum that I will accept will be Europa League. I think. What place is that? 6th?
You're not going to go with 4 horsemen?
6th? What's that? What's the qualification for Europa?
Yeah, sixth place will be around 64 points, something like that.
But I think the point. So but this is what I'm saying is my minimum. What I will accept.
We don't have any European football.
Points wise, I like something over 70. When Tony, I'm going to go over. I want to say 70. I'm going to go with 72. No, 71. Fuck it.
You're going in between me and Alonso.
Yes, that's what I like to put. Sorry.
That sweet spot right there.
Yeah, it's just nice and warm.
There.
It's nice and warm.
That's what she said.
In between the burper and the politician.
All right, so anyone got any more points?
It's only bad when Alonso doesn't cut his toenails, but other than that, I like being between those two.
Gary, anything else about how we can be better next season? Obviously, structurally, we can be better off the field and on the field. Go and get our targets this summer. And Arteta hopefully gets better with in-game management. But
hopefully?
Yeah, hopefully.
We're fucked if he doesn't.
Yeah.
So he has to. I mean, he's got to work on himself, right? I mean, everything that this videotape of everything he did incorrect that he couldn't work on, right? Subs, you don't have to make subs at 60, 70 minutes. You make subs when you feel that you've lost, your game plan isn't going to work anymore. That means at halftime, if you go in a halftime and you're like, crap, all 11 of you guys stink. We got to change this. Either you change the formation or you change some of the players. You can't just sit there and just watch your team just fail and not change anything. You just sit there and watch it, right? No, just change it. I mean, we see it all the time, right? The good managers and coaches will just change it. That means either the formation or they'll just pull somebody, and you're like, why are they pulling this guy? This guy, you know what? He's been screwing up the whole game. I asked him to do something, he's not doing it. You got to come out and sit and think about it tomorrow. But he's got to take control of this thing a little bit more, and not let the game can't control him anymore. He needs to have a plan. And he needs to have answers for everything that's going to be thrown at him, right? Anytime, it seems like we have no answers for none of his players. I guess they don't have the answers because he doesn't tell them until game time when he's screaming at them. They should know all that stuff. I mean, I think a lot of them already know it. I think they're just distracted by what he's telling them to do, right?
Do you think, Gary? We noticed this earlier in the season. He was screaming at the players. We called it too much structure, too much over coaching. Do you think that he's eased off on that and learned throughout the season? Because I think that's been less relevant as the season's gone on. We haven't heard it as much.
I guess because I never heard it much on the audio, so I heard it a couple times. I didn't hear it that much, but yeah, I have a feeling they just went off script. That's why. That's what I think. I think the players just you look at a lot of the things that we were doing. You ever see a player call for the ball like Martinelli did when he called for that cross?
That's right. Yeah.
You never see that. And you know what?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Right.
And Stan, famously in the West Ham game, Lacazette said they didn't follow the coach's instructions, the manager's instructions.
Because it was rubbish. But maybe, I don't know. But I mean, for me, right? Look, we're going to follow them instructions.
3-0 down after 30 minutes. It was pretty rubbish.
Imagine it. What are we going to follow those instructions for? Defenders, centre backs on unicycles? This is crazy. Anyway, we're still doing unicycles in defence. But for me, D-Day is the 14th of October, and that should be your D-Day too. You know why, Ray? The season begins on the 14th of August. That's when we start the new season in earnest, right? And the season's finished, and I didn't finish with 100% get this guy out. There was still that little crevice. So now that we're done, my opinion is going to be on how the money is spent this summer, and then on the 14th of October, Mikel Arteta would have had 2 months with whatever he's done with this team in the close season.
Yeah.
He'd have had 2 months to play football games, and it'll be 2 months for me to watch those games and see whether he has learned from the mistakes that he made in his rookie season, whether that be changing fucking substitutions when it's too late, or finishing games with still change in your pocket, i.e. subs on the bench. Whether it's going to be these like mind-blowing, too cool for school, I'm not going to play a striker up front, I'm going to play Manan. You know? It's ridiculous crap that he comes up with. I want to see that.
Or your faults now.
Where go binary?
Or go find another Nan on the street and call her the false Nan.
Exactly, the false Nan. This shit writes itself, lads.
That's a new position.
This shit is writing itself. This is brilliant. He plays a false Nan. That's brilliant. But
Where go binary?
yeah, false 9. That's old hat, man. We're gonna be playing a false Nan. But because I know. But
imagine the coach go, "What do you mean, Arteta, false
Nan?" We're at that stage now where he's had that bicycle all last season. He's been on that bicycle, right? Come the 14th of August, we're taking the stabilizers off, Mikel. Don't care.
October.
There's no more time. The stabilizers are coming off, and if you keep falling off that bicycle for the first 2 months, well, I can't think of another analogy.
Yeah,
we found the false Nan.
False Nan. You gotta just. Sometimes you just gotta say, I'm done. Drop the mic. Boom.
Yeah, we'll take the bike away, melt it down, and I don't know what we'll do, but you'll be bikeless. But you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, it's like the clock is ticking now. Come the 14th of October, if we're doing the same things that we were doing last season, I will not listen to any more excuses.
Yeah.
You know? We need to know his best 11 by then. I need to see evidence that, okay, he knows his best 11. I know what how we play. I can see the partnerships. This is what we do at home. This is what we're going to do away. I need to be able to start to understanding and seeing that there's some consistency, because as I said before in this podcast and on the other ones that I pop onto, our biggest enemy has been consistency. Because I've seen us play good games under Mikel Arteta. I've seen it. But then it annoys me where I can see those players, the same players, go out and play like a bag of shit. And I'm like, how does that happen? It's the same people. Sometimes you're playing against a lesser opponent. So why are you not up for this game? And these are the things that I need to see that. We've stepped forward against. Let me get off on this, right? And to any person that's listening to this podcast that, you hate Arteta, I never said that. But this is a big lesson here, right? Frank Lampard was a Chelsea legend, their highest goal scorer. This guy even had a season in a lower league being the manager of Derby County, right? He got the dream job. They brought him home. They opened the doors up. He bowls into Chelsea, and they throw so much cash at him, and he's fucking knee deep in this shit. He's got everything he wants. Every player he's got on his shopping list, they provide. He's got 200 million, and he couldn't get a tune out of them. Could not get a coherent tune out of them. So what did Abramovich do? And it must have pained him to do it, because he had a personal good relationship with players like Lampard and Terry, right? But what did he do? He was decisive. He brought in Tommy Tickles, man that has experience, right, from PSG. Old Tommy Tickles comes in. He's got the same tools to work with. They ain't gone out and bought him like a new saw and a new hammer. They said, listen, there's your tool bag. You can't get you nothing else. And what does he do? He wins the Champions League. And don't get me wrong, I don't want Chelsea to win the Champions League because I fucking hate Chelsea. I've got no time for them. But here, the less of Endif right there. They brought in a guy with experience. Yeah, they managed to get the sentiment part out of it. The same tools. So what I see from that is an experienced manager would be able to get a better tune out of them, and that's why I truly believe David Moyes up at West Ham. West Ham must have thought it was like 1966 again last season. You know what I mean? It was like Bobby Moore style. David Moyes would have been able to have got us a little bit higher up the table. He would have. I'm not saying he would have got us in the same position as West Ham, but he would have got us higher up the table. And
when you think about it,
there's no denying it.
Yeah, when you think about it, 6 points off of that top four would have been goal difference with Chelsea. We have improved. We've beaten Chelsea twice. We've beaten Manchester United. But as Stan said, consistency is the problem. Alonso, talk about our young players. I'm going to duck out for a second, be right back. But start the conversation off for how we can be better with our younger players making a step forward. And let's talk about Saka a little bit. We got to recognize what he's done this week with his inclusion into the England squad and his first goal for England as well. Alonso, take it away.
Yeah,
Right.
with Bukayo Saka, what he's done for Arsenal and England is just quite amazing. Especially the fact that, the guy's like still very young for his age, and he's just so poised to do big things for Arsenal. And the way that he linked up with, Odegaard and Odegaard and else as well was pretty special to me. And it kind of shows you that the sky's the limit with this kid. And even in my opinion, he should give a shot for captaincy because he just has it. He just has that Arsenal DNA. He always brings it. He can play multiple. He's very versatile. He can play left wing back. He can play number 10 right back. Right wing, left wing. So there's nothing a guy. There's nothing that he can't do really. And so when you build around him, when you build around Emilius Rowe, then you have something I think to build off of. And it's kind of cool seeing as well Colin Chambers do well as coming back from injury and all those fight through injuries and him becoming good again. It's kind of cool to see, really. And so I think Stan, you said that Colin Chambers should get a shot for vice captain at least because he's been through so much at Arsenal. But yet the kid has something in him, right? Every week he never gives up. He shows up whenever he's on the pitch, and so I think that you should build on those players really, and I think hopefully Arteta can start to value guys like Balogun and Aziz moving forward. Yeah, hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Raise one, man. Someone's got to speak.
No, the question was about the youth, right? So, so we need to see consistent improvement from them the more they play, right? The one player that I'm hoping will blow up just like Saka did is Martinelli. I'm hoping he just comes in. I mean, I don't think we're going to see him you might not see him really until September, October, like fully ready to go, right? Because he's going to be playing the Olympics, and depending on how much he plays, how deep they go, they're going to probably rest him, especially the fact that he's going to be coming back. He's like I've said all the time, Saka, Emilius Rowe, Martinelli, those are players that are still 2-3 years out from where we want them to be, right? We want them to be like when they're 24. That's when
Gabriel in there as well, the defender.
Yep.
Real maybe.
Yeah, Gabriel. So all those players, right? They're well ahead of schedule, right?
Yeah.
So that's why depth is important for us because they need to be our starters, but they don't need to play every game because at some point we're going to have to rest them mentally, definitely physically, especially in the Premier League when we play. Like we're playing maybe top teams they should play. I would like to see them play those games, and then when we play the scrubs, we can bring in some of the backups, the squad players to play that, and then use them that way so they can build up what we need them to be a couple years from now when we're like laughing, we're laughing at the other teams and stuff. That's where I think we need to be, because I can't unless we throw the money at this thing. They're not going to have a squad around them that's going to help them get to top 4 and them not kill themselves, right? We saw that. We're seeing that now, right? Saka just played, in a friendly, and they're still beating him down, right? Teams just don't know what to do with that kind of a player, right? It's like Grealish. They're just all, when they're playing, when they're good, the only thing you can do is just chop them down, right? Because they're just pissing you off the whole time. I can't get a hold of this guy, so he's gonna have to come down.
I call it the Maradona effect. You can't get the ball off him, so you just got to scythe him down. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's all you can do.
Yes, and that's a good thing. He's just gonna, and that's why it would have been nice for him not to have to play, because then he can maybe work on his strength, so he can take those hits. Because he's gonna, the more he plays, the more people see it, the more they're gonna realize, I don't know what else to do. He's gonna have, like you said, he's coming down with me. I'm just going to lay a leg out there a little bit longer than usual. Come on down, and then we need that bruiser, it's not, I thought it was Partey, but it's not Partey in the middle. That's going to do that for us. Right. But we need
probably Gabriel.
Yeah. But Gabriel's too far back, right? We need somebody a little bit closer to Saka for that to work. Somebody in the midfield, is there a big time bruiser in the big midfield that we, that's on our radar? I don't think so. Right. There's no big guy like that. I don't know if
Chambers, if you put him there.
Yeah.
We're still looking at William Carvalho. That name used to come up. I remember it was like 4 years in a row. Every window, William Carvalho, Big Willie.
Yeah. All right, Stefan. Have a good night.
I think, though, with some of these youngest lot that are coming through, I'd like to hope that Mikel's looking at our fixture list or getting an idea of it, and it's going to hurt us a little bit not being in Europe, because some of those games in the earlier rounds of that group table, so that's where some of our kids get an opportunity to play and show their worth. Right. So if you're looking at the schedule for the next season, and you're looking at players like Aziz, for example, who sounds to be a player that's just on the fringes. There's another one whose name I can't pronounce, CIRJ or something like that. You spell it; it gets a lot of headlines.
Yeah.
There's also Daniel Ballard as well. There's a few others, but if you're looking at the schedule and you can't see, well, where are they going to actually get to feature, then I really hope that they're proactive and send them out on loan. I'd rather have those players go out on loan, even if it's a league down or abroad, than have them spending more time just at that kind of mediocre 23-year-old level where, there's no real competitiveness about it. You can be comfortable at that level. I want them to somehow, if it's not with us, be playing in matches that mean something at the end of every result. Whether it's a league down and they're in the fucking auto windshields cup. Do you know what I mean? So be it. But at least you're playing for something, right? Or you're playing abroad in another league, and you're playing for the fucking, the kebab cup somewhere. At least it's meaningful. So I'd rather see them do that.
I mean, Ballard did that, right? He helped Blackpool get promoted. So that in itself means there's a lot of pressure, and they've been under a little bit of stress, right? So that's all good. That's all good. That's what you want to see.
A valuable learning curve.
Yeah. Isn't Ballard a right center back, right?
Centre back, fucking big guy, no, like a lighthouse.
So, would he feature next year, or would he go along? You think? I hope that he would feature, but you have Saliba and Mavropanos as well.
I think we're too young to bring another young centre back in. Well, Saliba, Gabriel, and
Mavropanos still there.
Yeah, I don't think we can handle three or four players in their teenage and 20-year-old, low 20s.
Yeah.
We need. That's why I understand why they're looking to get bringing somebody in, right? That might be a little bit more older. I can understand that, but they spent a lot of money on Saliba not to play him, right?
I just find
Gabriel worked out too, right?
Yep.
I find it really surprising, to be honest, with how many centre backs we have in our books that we're being linked with all of these right-sided centre backs
And some left-sided.
So we're basically saying that we're looking for someone to play ahead of Chambers, Holding, Saliba, Mavropanos, and then we could even go back if you're looking at our own players that we're bringing through, someone like a Ballard. So that's 5 defense centre backs that I've named, and we still feel that no, we need to go out and buy another one and maybe spend the same amount of money that we spent on, say, a Saliba. That doesn't make sense to me. Can we really not solve that internally? One of those lot can't be someone. If that's the case, then at least maybe 2 or 3 of them should be sold, right? Because they're just taking up oxygen at that point. They're taking up valuable oxygen. So
that's what we said, right? Arteta needs to have a plan that makes some sense with the resources that he has. He does it. Luis, as much as everybody, we're happy to see him go, but we're sad to see that leadership walk out the door as well, because that's the one thing that he brought. And maybe it was just to Gabriel, but who cares? Gabriel needed it, and that's what we need for our team, right? I mean, who's gonna Chambers will play there, Holding will play there. Do either one of those guys give you that feeling like, all right, he's going to help these youngsters along?
That's the future. Yeah. That's like giving him the armband, right? Giving Aubameyang the armband. It's just, you put it on, it just slides off because it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. I mean, if you get it, either those players need to go and play away so that you're not wasting, they're playing with decent players, or you need to bring in a solid center back to help them out. That's what I mean. We've bought really badly then at centre back. If we're saying that the left side is covered with either Gabriel or Pablo Mari, then we've got 5 defenders there: Chambers, Holding, Mavropanos, Saliba, and who was the other one? Ballard, for example. That's 5 right there. We've either bought really badly because we're looking to bring in a 6th guy. Because as you say, I mean, there's a lot of names there, right? But out of all of those names, is there anyone there that you would nail on and say, well, that guy could be the partner for the left-sided guy for some time to come? There ain't none, is there? There ain't none. I mean, we all want it to be someone like Saliba, but he's still going through a bit of a learning curve. He's the guy that you want on the bench, right? On the bench for every game, and maybe playing in those cup games and that. So we've obviously invested quite badly in that area.
I mean, that's why it was probably bad that to some degree they let Saliba go the way this season went, because they could have definitely used him because they had extra games. They had all the extra games. Think about him playing in the EFL and the FA Cup games and the Europa League games. I mean, there's too many games there to say, you know what? No, there's not enough space for you to play here. That's where he went wrong, really bad. Mustafi and all these other players who played in those games, you're like, no, this wasn't they didn't have a plan for the future for the players that were the future of the team. I mean, they knew they wanted to get rid of the dead wood, but they didn't have a plan for the youth that was up and coming and they could actually utilize. Sending Saliba on loan makes it easy for them to let him go, but then you're wasting what? I mean, they still have 15 million. I don't know if they're paying $5 million a year for him or whatever it is, but you still got 15 million that's still outstanding on it at least, I think. And now you're like, well, we'll let him go. Are they not going to get that? Is it 15 plus whatever's left? They're not going to get 30 million for him now.
Nothing to base it on. No one's seen him play, right? You're like, well, what are we paying for?
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
listen, I gotta say, there's been gremlins in the control room here, so we apologize for what's been going on. And you've been troopers keeping on going there.
Where we are in this mess, though, with our centre-back situation, just very quickly, please excuse me, Ray. I just think that...
No, go for it.
Raul Senieli, he fucking lied to us, man. Because remember when it was the Don Raul era, that really small window when Nicolas Pepe came in and that. I remember when I seen him dancing and that, and I remember him coming out and saying, "Like, we're not done yet. We're going to come back with Ibrahim Makama." Because he had that fucking Ibrahim Makama had the buyout clause. Do you remember? He said that, right? And what did he come? And he went off. What did he come back with? He came back with David Luiz, man. And I was just like, that's not. That look like Ibrahim Makama never had that kind of hair. That does not. Is that Ibrahim Makama? And I'm like, man, this guy, you can't trust this guy at all. You know? You're going to come back with a Ferrari, guy comes back with a fucking Yaris. You know what I'm saying? So we got into this mess. We got saddled.
I mean, if you look at all the players we should have got last season, because one, I think it would have been cheaper, which it was, and how much they cost now. Right? When Buendia and Aarons were relegated, that's when you throw money at them.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
You throw maybe they don't make it back up, but that's not our fault. That's not our we don't care, right? You get those players on the way down or on the way, you can't get the players on the way up for cheap. I mean, there's no way. On the way like Grealish would have been what, 40, 50 if they got relegated, and everybody would be laughing at that right now going, "Wow, you guys got a good deal." Right?
No.
Now he's 80, 100, right? We helped that situation, but this one we could have done. We could have actually got those two players because we needed both of them, right? Buendia and Aarons were two spots that we needed last season, and we didn't do it. Right? Didn't even have to leave the country, right? You know what? On your way out of the Premier League door, don't worry. Just you guys stay here. I got a red shirt for you.
But then again, sometimes it swings and roundabouts, right? For every one of those like duff deals, there's a fucking Iwobi at 40 mil, and you're like, no, fuck
Nobody's gonna. Everybody's they're paying attention when we have to sell a player right now. And we devalue our players anyways right now.
Eddie Nketiah is another one that's getting talked about that could be going places, and I mean, who are we really? I mean, we're just spitballing here, right? None of us are fucking in the business, but I mean, you're going to sell Eddie Nketiah. What realistically, and everyone in the chat box as well, you're going to sell Eddie Nketiah, right? How much do you really think that we should be getting? I mean, does he automatically cost 5 million more because he's English? Is that how it works? I mean, what should we be asking for Eddie Nketiah at this stage?
20 million.
15
20.
minimum.
20.
Why? What did he? We have devalued him. He's not worth that. If you think all the
He's
other players
English.
think about
Stan
what
said
player
he's
right now
English,
is
he
worth
gets a
more
5
than
million
20?
bonus.
Huh?
Stan said he's English, so he gets a 5 million bonus.
No, but who? Willock's the only player who's worth over 20 right now.
What was that one that went from Liverpool? Was it Ryan Brewster?
Yeah.
How much did he go to? He went to Wolves. Where did he go? What happened with him? But I remember it was like money, and he hadn't done anything for the first team.
He went to Sheffield United. Sheffield.
Yeah, nobody's spending that much money for Eddie because you know what? Like I said, we made him look bad. All right, him, Nelson. I mean, those are players that should have been playing a lot more football than they did.
So how much would you take for him, Gary?
For who?
And Eddie. He was how much do you reckon?
If we were going to buy, if it was the same, if it was opposite way, he was on a different team. 5.
Fucking hell, Jesus!
I mean, what did you see?
Gary don't like Eddie.
What did you see from him this season? It leads you to believe that you're going to get 15.
Fucking harsh, man. I know you're saying, but Jesus.
It's not that. It's because we wasted a resource.
I ain't going on the day with Gary, man. We go to fucking Burger King.
And I got coupons, so you better order whatever I got in the coupon, dude. It's like 2 for 1, and then But no, I think Eddie is a better player, but we wasted him.
Able to get 15 for Eddie.
How did we waste it when we were
benching
Lacazette for him? How did we waste him?
No,
Gary?
but they didn't put him in situations that made him look good, right? So it's hard to
He didn't
resell
put himself in
when you
positions.
look at him. Well, you play him. Either you play him wrong, you put wrong players around him, whatever the case may be. Did he look like he was having a good game? There's potential there.
Maybe in the right team with the right style of play that is prepared to play to his strengths.
Yeah.
I think we could maybe squeeze 15 out of someone. He's got that. What's this record he's got? He's like the quickest, highest goal scorer under blah 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 since Alan.
Yeah, U23s, right? He's like U21s or whatever it is.
Fucking singing that all around town. Do you know what I mean? Big posters of it everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Trumpets, the whole.
Wait, did you see him play with them at the end of the season? Now he was terrible.
I'll basically be peddling him as the next Alan Shearer.
Right. See that's yeah.
Alan Shearer, love. You know what I mean? Lovely jubbly. Just sign in.
I want him to be good, but it just didn't work out for him, right? I mean, if we had a seasoned manager, more than likely he would have been out. They would have been on loan. They would have been on.
It's that he got ahead of Balogun in dead rubbers when it's obvious that we were trying to court Balogun to retain his services, and I didn't have understood that. I say it's a dead rubber game. There's nothing going on. There's nothing to win or lose, you know. And then we're going to do what? We're going to bring on Eddie Nketiah, the guy that we want to get rid of. Why not give Balogun those minutes? You know, give him. That doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I'm saying? We all play FIFA, right? Once you played FIFA, right? I'm one of those ones that I know I'm getting rid of, and I wait till the January window closes before I stick it on the market. So I get the money next season. Do you know what I mean? So I've got a bit more of an extra kitty next season. Then players don't get a fucking looking for the rest of the season. They don't get a looking. Do you know what I mean? Unless like everybody's on a stretcher. So I don't understand why you would not give someone like Balogun in a dead rubber, or if you're in a game, for example, and you're winning like 3-1, you know, and it ain't going to be, you know, he's got nothing to lose. Why not give him those minutes? I never got that, but.
And he didn't show me anything in the 40 minutes that he played that led me to believe, you know what? I don't think he can do something special. Every time he touched the ball, he did something. No, Balogun. Every time he touched the ball, he did something special with it, even though it was 40 minutes against whoever it was. But nobody else in that short amount of time did as much. I think he either accounted for 3 goals when he played in like 40 minutes.
I've seen so little of Balogun, but when I have seen him, I'm still at the stage where I'm like, oh, I'd like to see more of that. Whereas with Eddie, I'm like, I think I've seen everything that I kind of need to see. I think I'm fully aware of what this guy is bringing, what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are. But Balogun, I'm still interested. I'm still inquisitive, and like you say, that 40 minutes, I was like, I'd like to see more of this, please.
Yeah, I mean when I looked at that, I was like, yes, that's what I want to see. Especially, and all the youth looked really good in those Europa League games, and we didn't really they didn't benefit from it, right? Nelson never really played. Willock had to leave. And Ainsley had to leave. I mean, all the youth that we're talking about the youth now. We don't even have the Europa League now, so they have to go out on loan because he's not going to play them. Right? He's not going to play them.
He didn't play him this season. He's definitely not going to play him next season.
Unless he changes his ways, which I would be surprised because I don't. Can Lego Binary change that quickly?
Error of his ways, Gary.
Lego Binary doesn't change that fast.
Nope.
See, Gary, I think
I'd like to ask you guys as well, as we're talking about strikers and stuff, and yourself as well. I'd like to know what you think as well, Ray. I'd like to know, and in the chat box, what come this summer, is there anything that needs to be done with our strikers, our attack? What I mean is, are you happy to keep Lacazette and Orba with maybe Balogun in the background, or do you want to rip it up and start again, get rid of both Orba and Laka, or is there one that you favour all over the other, or should it not be touched? I would really like to know what you guys think of our striker options, what we should be doing going into next season.
Can I go first?
Yes.
So
I get a beer. I'm listening. I'm just getting a beer.
So Stan. So for me, like I think, with the current team we have, it kind of shows you that Lacazette can do more with the youth, whereas with Aubameyang, you can't depend on him to I guess influence the game, and it kind of shows you how it happened because you look at Martinelli and how I believe Gary had said that there was nobody calling for the ball except for Martinelli. And so I want to see more Martinelli because he seems to have it. He seems to not give up. He seems to track back and helps out defensively. And I think Lacazette works for the youngsters. So I wouldn't mind seeing that Boomerang leave because he still has some value and you can still show him if you need to. Whereas Lacazette, he's like that captain, right? That leader that's on the pitch. And that gives more opportunities to Balogun and Martinelli if Aubameyang needs to go, and as well as Pepe, it opens up a spot for him as well. So I'll have to see.
Follow-up question then, right? If you're getting rid of Aubameyang and you're keeping Lacazette, are you promoting from within? You're not going to buy from outside to bring in another striker. You think we've got enough to continue with that? For example, Lacazette, Martinelli, Balogun, Pepe. Sometimes you're not going to buy no one else to replace Aubameyang. You're going to keep with what you got.
Well, I would buy someone. Of course, I would buy maybe Sterling or maybe lower than that because right now, Aubameyang doesn't fit that system currently, and even as a central striker, he doesn't mean nothing, at least from what I've seen. So. Yeah, Stan, I would buy someone, but not maybe as expensive.
Yeah, I think we got to start getting some money back for some of our players. We've sold terribly as a club. We don't get anything back for any of our players. The last number of players left fees, we haven't gotten any money for them. So we have to start getting ruthless, as they say. Sell Lacazette, I would say. Bring in somebody like an Edward, like you said, Stan. We need to freshen things up. We need to score about 10 or 12 more goals this season. Tony?
I would keep Lacazette. I'd sell Uba. I'd sell Eddie. Yeah, that's a huge surprise. I'd sell Eddie and Nelson and get Edward. And I'd try to see who else is out there available. But I try to promote Balogun and see what he has to offer. And going back to where we started at here on the youth players, we just got to play him and see what we have. Last year, he just didn't play him at all. He didn't give him any faith at all.
I think Balogun really, like you might have said this a little while ago, Balogun does need a loan. He needs to go out on loan. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get this season. But, yeah, we need to freshen things up, and we need to score more goals. And I don't know what we're going to do with Aubameyang. I think we're tied to a long-term contract with him, unfortunately. Gary?
Yeah, the whole Balogun, like for me, you have Balogun. I think he needs to go out and play. You know, I think Martinelli is your second or third striker anyway, so you got that sorted, right? If we didn't change the strikers, right, then you've got Martinelli to come in, and if Martinelli actually works out better, then you know what, so be it. Because especially if you don't re-up on Lacazette, he's going to walk anyways, right? But if you really want to keep Lacazette, I don't think we can afford to spend that much money. So it's like then you just have to sell him, right? That's the plan. What is the plan with the strikers, right? It's a plan to sign, to pay Lacazette again. He's going to expect a raise, right? So now you've got two strikers at that 300,000 mark. I don't think we can afford that. I mean, we can't afford it now. So one of them has to go, and to me, it's easier for Lacazette because he's not tied, but Aubameyang maybe brings in more for us, I think. And he brings in more for us because if he does go and we keep Lacazette, then we know our youth will be better. Our leadership won't be lost, right? And I mean, then you can maybe Balogun can play, right? Maybe you can keep Balogun, but
I don't think if you have Aubameyang, you can keep Balogun. I think that one of the two has to go. When you go out on loan, you got to sell him. For me, if that happens, but I do like the Edouard guy. I mean, I would like to see us, go get him and like sell Lacazette. Those things I think need to have been thought of already, right? I know. So if it was me, Lacazette, we would have been trying to sell him already, right? Try to get him out the door, and Edouard would be like, you know what? Don't say anything. We got you, kind of thing. And then you're sorted there, and then Aubameyang, Yeah,
I'm worried that this is a window we're going to focus solely on midfield, creative midfield, and defend like a right back or left back. We need to freshen something up front as well.
Yes, that's where we should be. But this team, I don't think we have the right people managing that situation.
Nope.
Right? That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
I don't think any of us feel like, you know what, we need to fix the midfield. They're going to go out and get 2 to 3 players for the midfield. That's what we need, right? 2 to 3 players. We need a partner for Partey. We need somebody that's going to challenge, Emile Smith-Rowe in the middle, and then we need depth.
Right back and a left
right now
left
in the midfield. We're not going to bring Aziz in right now, right? He's probably going to go out on loan, so he comes back, either midway through the season or at the end of the season, like Emile Smith-Rowe did, right? That's what we want to see from that kind of move. So
due to the lack of European football, those players will have to develop as loans at another club. I think we should wrap it up here a little bit. It's been a problematic podcast for me in the control room. Stan, go ahead.
Can I say what I would do by strikers, please?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you.
No, Stan, you can't say.
We're taking the landing gear. The landing gear is coming down, Stan. You still have time to.
Stefan's not here, so you can't just say we're coming into.
I'm like, usually our landing is like so fucking leisurely. All of a sudden, we're coming in for a fucking crash landing. It's like, Ray's like, okay, everybody, brace.
Ray's just jumping out with a fucking parachute.
Well, when the controls don't work, it is brace. Go ahead, Stan.
For me, with the striking situation, I'm at the stage where I'd like to rip it up and start again. Both of them, Aubameyang and Lacazette. And what I would probably like to do is, if I had a magic wand, is that I would get rid of Aubameyang now in the summer, and I'd bring in an Edouard. I think I quite like Edouard, and then I would probably go through until January, giving Edouard a little bit of time to bed in, and having Lacazette still in and around the place. Meanwhile, bringing in Martinelli off the bench. Lacazette doesn't get a lot of fucking game time in this period till January, but he's there as my little safety net. Come January, mate, he gets a Spanish archer. He's out the door.
Oh, look at Tony.
Gone in January, hopefully. And then I'll be looking at Edouard as my main man if you're playing the system with only the one striker. And then you've got, you've got your Martinellis, and you've got your Balogun in there as well. And you never know, maybe if you haven't got rid of Eddie, but I'd like to see him gone. Maybe someone, who's...
How the fuck is Eddie still there? You got to get rid of Eddie.
Eddie's gone this summer. But
maybe you'll have someone like a John Jules, someone from who's training, with the seniors or some of the younger lads. He's training with them, and when there's bigger benches, maybe in the League Cup games, he goes along with them and something like that. But I'll personally rip it up and start again. Now I'm done with Aubameyang and Lacazette, and I'd just like to say as well, Lacazette's been getting a lot of praise. And he did and that's because he's done better than Aubameyang. Aubameyang's been our talisman. But for me, Lacazette's never done more than Giroud has. He hasn't. Do you know what I mean?
You're right.
No, that's not true necessarily.
Let me finish my argument. Right? We got rid of Giroud, right? Because he couldn't take us to the next level. That was all. He's never going to take us to the next level. I don't think Lacazette has ever beat Giroud's numbers. And then when I put that on Twitter, someone went, well, did Giroud take Chelsea to the Champions League? And I actually said, yeah, he did, because in order to get into the Champions League, you got to qualify from the season before to finish in the correct place. And Oliver Giroud scored goals to help Chelsea finish in the Champions League.
Last 2 months, yeah.
And I think in the
Absolutely.
eight appearances he made in the Champions League, he scored 6 goals. So I think he played his part. Yet this is a player that we felt at Arsenal couldn't take us to the next level. What's the level that Lacazette's taken us to?
Giroud was a means to an end to get Aubameyang, and that was a big power play within the club. For who was it at the time? Gazidis, right?
Yeah.
The delegation went over to Germany. Big power play, get Aubameyang, but there was a whole triumvirate of players that had to move, and Giroud had to go to Chelsea. Batshuayi, went to Germany.
Yeah, he went somewhere, didn't he?
He went to Germany and Dortmund, and we took Aubameyang back home. So Giroud was a vital part in Aubameyang coming to the club, and we had to sacrifice Giroud at the time.
After we got Aubameyang, we got Aubameyang after Lacazette or before? I can't remember.
Yeah, after 6 months later.
6 months later.
Yeah. I mean,
like 5 million difference between them. We got one for 50 million and the other for 55 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I was gonna say, about Lacazette is, yes, him and Giroud are different in respects in terms of the scoring, but that's not one of the positives that we got from Lacazette this season. He did score some, right? He was our leading scorer, I think, at the end of the day, right? But also he brought along that midfield, right? He helped. No. Why are you guys waving at me?
Tony's waving his hands again.
But that's what he did, right? We keep talking about leadership, right? Lacazette is leadership walking out the door again. He's not as it's the same as like Luis, another leadership player with leadership skills leaving the team.
Yep.
We don't. And that's one of the reasons why I think Tierney needs to just be given an armband so he can just do it, right? I think he's holding himself. I think he's holding himself back a little bit because he doesn't want to step on any toes, right? Mm-hmm. I think
you'll find when
he's a fuck. I really don't. He really seems.
You'll find. I think Granit Xhaka is a bigger character, and Tierney's not able to fully express himself as a captain.
Because Arteta sons get all the play, right? When the sign-up sheet comes up and the coach says, you know what, who's my first player, right? They say, Xhaka is always the first one on the list, right? Because he's got to put his son first. And Tierney's he's probably towards the bottom of the list, just because he just wants to show him, you know what? This is my son, right?
Yeah, you got Xhaka, William, Luis.
This is my son. Tierney's, so that's why I feel
they have a good relationship. Arteta and Tierney have a good relationship, but Xhaka is the guy who will play anywhere. He's the Swiss Army knife. Remember?
But you know what? That's because he's not that good, right? You're saying Tierney's not as good because he can only play left back. Well, guess what? He plays it pretty good. Saka is the one that's getting screwed because he doesn't have to play, but he can play anywhere you want him.
I agree with you, Gary.
Same thing, right? And Middlesbrough allowed Martin to come in and play, and he can move around.
No argument here. I agree with you.
We got Xhaka as a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a master of none of it. He's a jack of all trades, he's slipping here, slipping there. But
I think we said this before.
He doesn't excel at anything.
He's that Swiss Army knife stand. You take out the corkscrew to
I actually think
he's good for a picnic, Ray.
If I was a Swiss Army knife company, I'd be taking you to court right now for fucking defamation of character. Seriously.
Listen, final word, Stan. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on and in my summer clothes. Great to have this. It's good having this casual chat because the season's finished. We're not on fucking tender hooks about the next game and what's going to happen.
No stress.
So we can just relax a little bit now, and I want to try and take in a little bit of the Euros. Different time zone over here, being in Vancouver, but really got a keen interest on the England and Scotland game as I have heritage from both of those places. So I'm going to try and catch a little bit of that. But as always, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone in the chat box and also to you four as well. Great footy chat as always, lads.
Yeah, thanks, Suzilla. For me, it was a difficult one behind here in the control room. Tony noticed definitely was things going haywire here and there.
I
But
thought you were taking acid for a while. Just kept flashing in.
Alonso, give me your final word there. And Don Juan, thanks for joining. And Brownie, everyone who's going to be watching this, do appreciate it as always.
Yeah.
Alonso?
Yeah, so it's been a good podcast. I think that, it's been kind of humorous at times, but we're going through it. We're going to do some key issues amongst the team and how our Arteta can improve and what are signs we need to get done and hopefully get done pretty soon. And thanks, guys. It's been a fun time and enjoyed it all. Gary, Stan, Tony, and Ray. So it's been a fun chat.
So, Gary, should we give Tony the final word, or do you want the final word,
Up to
Gary?
you, boss.
I think Tony sometimes likes to have the last word, right?
No
So-
problem.
Give it to Tony.
No problem. So here we go. So a couple of things. First off, ABCs, right? Always be closing. All right. We got to be closing. You got to have a plan and stick with it. We put our when that ball's sitting there at our feet, got to put our foot through it, back of the net. All right. That's what we got to do. No dribblers to the goalkeeper, right? Where he's stabbing it with one, he's catching it with one hand. No, he's stinging his hands if he puts his hand out there. That's what we need to do in this off season. Always be closing. So that's what we need to do.
Can I say, Gary, you make me want to fucking go and watch Glenn Ross again now.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, isn't it?
Yep.
I feel like the ABCs of business, right? Always be closing.
Balls. See these balls?
And listen, don't sleep on Buendia. I think we're going to get it done. I think we're still a bigger draw than Aston Villa. Just about.
You already carried on 15 minutes about him, Ray. You can't go on any longer.
It'll be 15 minutes on the back end.
Did any of the prop bets come through today? Tony prop bets?
Zero.
None came through.
0 times.
You just said it.
Yeah, but during the show, I said it's 0.
We had a prop bets for Tony. How many times he's going to call Ray his favorite?
Two and a half.
He's actually been pretty good. He didn't cuss me out today, so that's good.
Listen, you kept disappearing. I couldn't cuss you out.
Gary and Alonso, thanks for joining. Gary, I can't believe you're working this late, but thanks for joining the podcast.
It was crazy. Everybody in the chat, like I said, good seeing you. Hope to see you back next time we're on.
Tony, you get the last 90 seconds.
It's good to have a nice, relaxed chat with everybody. It's nice to invent the false Nan. And I don't think Stan's mom can watch this one because Stan probably said fuck 100 times.
Oh, God. Here we go.
And just overall, it was a good chat with everybody in the chat, everybody on the show. I don't need 90 seconds. Let's fucking end this thing, Ray. Parachute out.
Yeah, there was times when it was going haywire, and I wanted to end this thing, but
I think you were taking acid. Just everything kept flashing back and forth.
No, there was serious gremlins going on with the keypad here, the controls.
You stole my beer, my 12.2% beer.
Plenty of things other things I wanted to get through, but we will have a long summer still with football. Wanted to get through speed bumps in our season. The Olympics are coming up, African Cup of Nations, and there's going to be a tournament in Florida coming up as well as the Emirates Cup. So
Gary's gonna be there in Gatorland.
Arsenal will be back soon, within the month, probably. And,
that whole Florida thing.
You're going to Florida, Gary. Come on.
You're going, Gary. Are you going to go?
If I'm going to Florida, I'm going to see the Florida Gators. I don't know if I can go see.
How far is Florida from you?
2 hours.
Flying
2 hours.
Like 2 hours, but driving probably about 12, 14.
Oh, right. Fly is nothing, man. 2 hours is nothing.
Come on, Gary.
Wait.
You get there in like 8
The
hours.
way Gary drives,
it's
12 hours. The way I drive, it's probably 18, 19.
Yeah, Ray said it's over a 2-hour drive to get to Gary. Gary's like, no, it's not.
Ray's the guy that you're like everybody's beeping a horn on because he's driving just slow enough to sit by the semi truck that's there and nobody can get by in a 2-lane highway, and Ray's just driving, just like smiling.
Listen, however
Ray's
way
listening to
anyone
Gaelic
drives,
music, just chilling.
do it safely out there. Be safe, everyone, and listen. Always have fun here talking to these guys, and we'll see you on the next one. We left plenty of meat on the bone I didn't get to today, but plenty of summer to get to it.
Fucking
And we
Gremlins
will
Part
be-
3.
I think we want to go a little bit earlier on Sunday.
I'm on.
We do.
Stan will be in bed when we're going on Sunday, so hopefully we can do a little bit earlier.
Will that
But
give me time to eat before?
Just wake up early. Come on.
Did you eat tonight?
I drank some strong ass beer. Does that count?
No. Until the next one, we're out of here. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for watching, and thanks to all the panelists for being here. Stan, you're doing something. I don't know what you're doing.
Trying to find a
Bye.
filter.
He's
See you
gonna show you
Sunday.
below his waist.
3, 2, 1.
Bye bye.